Have you ever wondered what would happen if the most fundamental constant force we know just stopped? For the next 60 seconds, we're going to explore what happens when the universe's anchor is completely cut loose.
So what would happen if that invisible leash holding our entire universe together just, poof, switched off for 60 seconds? I'll tell you this much. It's a minute that would start with a kind of bizarre wonder and end in just absolute, unimaginable ruin.
All right, let's start the clock. The very first second, boom, gravity's gone. And in that one instant, the world as we know it, well, it just starts to come apart at the seams.
Okay, so instantly, everything that isn't bolted down just starts to rise. I mean, think about it. Your phone, your keys, even the dust on the floor. If you're inside, you're floating up to the ceiling, completely disoriented. And outside, the streets would become these strange, shimmering clouds of stuff. Just pure chaos, right from the get-go.
But wait, it's not some gentle, graceful float upwards. No way. You have to remember, the Earth is still spinning, right? Like over 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So without gravity pinning us down, everything gets launched sideways at hundreds of meters per second. It's not a lift, it's a violent sideways blast straight into a storm of flying debris.
Okay, that was just the first second. Now let's see what happens over the course of the full minute, and how this whole thing snowballs into a full-blown planetary catastrophe. It's basically a terrifying one-minute experiment in what happens when you're completely free from the one law we all depend on.
And things escalate fast. 10 seconds in, the oceans themselves lift off the planet, erupting into these huge floating blobs of water. 20 seconds in our atmosphere, our very air starts to just bloom outwards into space. Then, around 40 seconds, something weird happens, a strange calm. Fires all over the world just go out. See, without gravity, hot air doesn't rise, so flames just suffocate. And by the time we hit that 60-second mark, there's no up, there's no down, just a silent, creepy ballet of colliding debris.
And while all this is happening on the surface, something even bigger is going on deep inside the planet. Gravity is literally the glue that holds the Earth together, so without it, the planet's crust starts to shift, building up this immense tectonic stress, just waiting for the clock to run out.
And then it happens. The minute is up, the timer dings, and reality doesn't just return. Oh no, it crashes.
Gravity switches back on, instantly. And everything begins to accelerate downwards. 9.8 meters per second squared. Now that might just sound like a number from a physics textbook, but it's the unforgiving speed at which every single car, building, person, and drop of water is now hurtling back towards the ground.
The aftermath. I mean, it's almost impossible to really wrap your head around it. All that debris is now falling at terminal velocity. Those giant floating oceans, they come crashing down, creating mega tsunamis that would sweep across entire continents. And for anyone who, by some miracle, survived that minute of chaos, the biological shock would be catastrophic. That sudden return of pressure would rupture organs, crush tissues. It's a truly devastating end.
Okay. Wow. After that pretty terrifying scenario, let's all just take a breath and step back for a second. Because the good news is, scientifically, this could never, ever happen. Let's dig into why.
This all comes down to Einstein's theory of general relativity, and what it tells us is actually kind of mind-blowing. See, gravity isn't a force like magnetism that you can just flip a switch on and off. It's the literal shape of the universe. The best way to think about it is like a fabric, space-time. Heavy things like planets and stars create a dip in that fabric, and what we feel as gravity is just us rolling along that curve. Gravity is the curve.
So, to get rid of gravity, you wouldn't be turning something off, you'd have to somehow flatten the entire fabric of space-time. And the energy required to do that? Well, it's more than all the energy that exists in the entire observable universe. So yeah, it's not just unlikely, it is fundamentally completely impossible.
So you might be asking, if it can't happen, why are we even talking about it? It's a fair question, but it's because this whole thought experiment reveals something so much deeper about gravity, its hidden meaning, its role as the architect of, well, everything.
And that's the deeper truth, isn't it? Gravity isn't just some cosmic bully pulling us down. It's the silent architect of all structure, all meaning. It's what holds stars together. It's what keeps planets in orbit. It literally orchestrates the entire dance of existence. Can you just imagine seeing this from space for a second? The Earth would look like it was blossoming, exhaling its oceans and its atmosphere in this beautiful, terrifying cloud, only to then catastrophically collapse back in on itself. What a spectacle. And it just goes to show you how incredibly fragile that gravitational balance really is.
So really, the contrast is everything. Without gravity, you get detachment, chaos, disintegration. But with gravity, you get connection, order, coherence. It's pretty much the fundamental force that brings everything together in the cosmos.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. If gravity is this silent architect building so much of the reality we know, what other invisible forces are out there, quietly shaping the world we take for granted every single day?